Welcome to Monday Mornings with Michelle, the new business podcast. Whether you're kicking off your day or kickstarting your business, Michelle is going to kick your ass into next week with the essential fours: strategy, systems, support, and state of mind. Now, welcome to center stage, Michelle Nedelec.
Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelec, and I'm super glad to have you here with us. Today, we have the most amazing guest, Miss Monica Bijoux. Say hello, Monica.
Hello. And you said my name right. Love it. Love it.
You must get that a lot where people say weird things.
Oh
What was
my
the weirdest
gosh,
thing
yes.
you ever got?
I've gotten Bayou. I remember one guy particularly said Bayou, like with a B-A. And I said, is there an A in my name? And he was like, well, I mean, it just looks like it should be that. And I said, okay. His last name was King, K-I-N-G. And I was like, okay, King. And he goes, Shay, got it. Like, you're welcome. I was like, look at the spelling. It's B-I. Come on now.
I'm surprised you didn't get like Bijoux or something like that.
Oh, I've gotten Bougie and some other stuff too. I'm like, really? I'm like, are you referring to my personality or my name? Because it's Bougie on a budget, if that's what you're calling me.
It's totally your personality, babe. Totally. So clearly, guys, you can see we're going to have a little bit of fun today. So Monica, give us a kind of 5,000 foot view of who you are and kind of how you got to be where you are.
Oh, wow. So that's like a loaded question. How did I get where I am? So in a nutshell, I'm Monica Bijoux, as Michelle said, and I pretty much have lived in a lot of different places. And so for me, culture is huge. I love culture. I love to explore stuff. But from a business standpoint, I've always loved working with entrepreneurs and love being in the space of teaching. So I'm also a business coach and business strategist. And so my life itself has been nothing but pivotal shifts, which is what I help other entrepreneurs who are going through pivotal shifts in their lives, how to keep from going through trial and error. And so with that, my own life has been that story that it allows me to come from an authentic place and really help my clients get to their next destination without having to go through the ebbs and flows. I mean, the necessary ones, yes, but the unnecessary ones, that's where I come in and help them from a personal standpoint, their own personality to get there. I'm also an Amazon bestseller, have 2 books on my belt, have 2 more coming out this year. My own story of trials, tribulations, trauma, all the things that, physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and how I'll use my adversity and use it as an opportunity to help other people grow and get to where they need to be without having to be stuck. So, small little nutshell.
Nice. I love it. So some of the special projects that you're working on right now, and clearly your books, or do you have other ones on the go too? Or are those big time consumers?
Most definitely. I just actually started teaching other people how to do a podcast themselves, because I've been asked by so many people. Within a couple of weeks of me doing my podcast, I end up hitting international. So I've had other people say, and they've listened to my show and they're like, you have a very conversational style and I like it. Can you teach us how to do that? And so, of course, you go by what people are requesting and asking you to do. And so if you ever notice, my natural style is to be conversational. I like to have fun. I like to just be able to meet new people. So I've taken that style. I'm psychologically androgynous, which means that I am always balanced. I take I would say the masculine side energy and my feminine energy and put them together. So I'm able to teach a person the techie side by being very simplistic, and then not be so simplistic that a person's like, okay, this is too watered down. So it just seems like my teaching style is to have a very balanced, where the guys are like, okay, I follow. And the women are like, hey, this is super easy. So I decided to go ahead and teach the course and go from there.
Well, good for you. That's fantastic. So tell us about your podcast. What's the name of it?
So the name of my podcast is after my business, Decide to Move, and Decide to Move podcast. It's on every platform, including I do video as well. So it's also on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, and basically I work with entrepreneurs that are going through pivotal shifts. I already had success in their life. And so they don't want to start from the trial and error, like I was saying before. They want to say, I already know what success looks like, so just give me the meat and let me go from there. So I once said to somebody the other day, I was like, I like the meat and potatoes, forget the corn. I don't need all that other stuff. If I want it, I'll ask you for it. And he was like, I'm going to have to make a shirt out of that. And I just started laughing.
That's awesome.
I was like, thief, stealing my stuff.
Already. Oh, that is awesome. So is that the name of your YouTube channel as well, or?
Yes, it's named after my podcast, Decide to Move podcast. And so the name of my company, Decide to Move, is actually, it's an acronym. And I got the name from when I was helping another entrepreneur. I noticed how he was just all over the place. I mean, like literally the way that he handled his customers, he was inconsistent. Like he actually sold computers. And so his office was a mess, screws. And, you know, back in the day when they had those computers where it was like, they call it a water computer, like the monitor, the CPU. It was a water one for gaming. And it's like, so his stuff was like everywhere, motherboards. And I'm like, how do you find anything in there? So I went on ride-alongs, helped him like organize his office, helped him the way that he presented himself, and just helped him through this whole little process. Well, then later on, while I was working on my human resource master's, I ended up having to actually write a paper on change, being a change agent, going in a company and helping them change. And I was just like, well, I did that already on a volunteer basis, but I didn't know what the steps were. I just did it. It's a natural instinct. And so I prayed about it. And next thing you know, all these little steps, words, I should say, at the time there were words came in my mind. I went to sleep, woke up, and I started organizing them just as they came to me. And when I looked at it, it was 12 steps, and it actually spelled Decide to Move. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So the next day I went to school and did my presentation, and people were upset. They're like, oh my gosh, she created her own concept. The funny story about that is I actually had abdominal surgery, like had my appendix removed from a laparoscopic, and I was having a lot of pain. So the instructor let me go first, like earlier before anybody else. And I ended up hospitalized that night. So it was kind of like, I gave that presentation in pain. And literally it was slides with words, with pictures, because I'm a person that I don't like a lot of words. I can explain it with just pictures. And so that's what I actually did. And then the rest has been history. So that was about 14 years ago, maybe longer than that. And I decided finally when I launched my company to actually still use that name, because it resonates about transition, change, growth, development, everything that I stand for. So yeah,
well,
and that's where
fantastic.
Decide to Move came from.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And your background, your enthusiasm, your experience to me is just fascinating. And I know we don't have time for all of it, but I do hope to get as much out of it as I can. But I want to know about your books too. So what books have you written, and which ones are you writing?
Yes. So the first book that I wrote was called Fiercely Speaking, and Fiercely Speaking was basically, it's a collaboration with a bunch of women that basically told their story of things that they went through, trials and tribulations, and how they learned how to speak fiercely. How did they find their voice? And so I wrote my story about my daughter. I had my daughter at 17. I was actually put out at 15. Got pregnant at 16, had my daughter at 17. And so through that trials and tribulations, I always tell people, you know, most times people think a teenage mom will either end up on, you know, state assistance, have more kids, not really accomplish anything. And I'm like, well, this girl, 2 master's work, about to finish my, will be done in December. And my daughter lives in Germany. And so I like really gave them 10 steps, 10 lessons learned, and then ways that you can connect with your child, no matter if you have out of wedlock, with dad, without dad. How can you actually be able to collaborate, coordinate, like really connect with your kid so that they learn how to speak up for themselves? Unfortunately, I've seen so many kids nowadays that are now adults who did not have that, did not have connections with their parents, or their parents didn't really know how to teach them how to love and how to connect. So I give 10 lessons, 10 strategies of how to do that. And that's in Fiercely Speaking. And then the second book I wrote was Propel. Once again, use my life story to teach, you know, come from a leadership place and let people know you don't have to have a degree in order to be a good leader. You know, for me, leadership comes from experience. It's not something that you actually is always necessarily taught. There's probably going to be people that argue with me on this, but I've actually conversation with someone about that. I was like, people who were taught how to be leaders usually say the dumbest cliches ever, and it doesn't come from the heart, and it's something that they heard and they're like, let me repeat that, and they use it in the most inappropriate times. And I was actually, the person I was talking to actually fit that, and she was like, you're talking about me, aren't you? And I was like, why? Do you have a tendency to say stupid stuff and piss people off? And she was like, I was like, exactly, because and you can see it doesn't come natural. Like, when people are having a really difficult time, these are the people that come by and go, oh, let me bring you some Chick-fil-A. When you have people who are, had loved ones dying or COVID is happening, you don't see them at all. Just a lot of little things like that. So it's just funny. And then the one that I'm working on this year is one I'm working with, one of my business coaches, where basically it's a business book of how to create your own courses and things that we went through, and how it actually creating courses help your clients show up better, like how you can actually help more people be scalable by creating courses. And then the last one is my own book that I'm doing by myself, and that's basically called Beautiful Wreck, Finding the Healing Place, and basically telling my story and how to find light at the end of all the adversity that was experienced. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That is a
well-rounded,
huge array. Exactly. Nice spectrum of topics and material there. That's fantastic.
Yeah, because most, as business owners, our life does not stop when we become entrepreneurs or business owners. We still are dealing with stuff, and most times our life bleeds into our business. No matter how much we attempt to separate it, it still shows up. And so one of the things I definitely help my clients with, is helping them with the mindset stuff. When they're stuck, I can easily go into finding out what's keeping them stuck without actually saying, we're going to focus on your past. No, I can actually figure out what's happening. And then we can stop the recorder that tells a person they're not good enough. What happens if I show up? What are people going to think? And then help them get over that hurdle and then keep moving. So, yeah.
Nice. I love it. Absolutely love it. And absolutely, as my peeps should know by now, is my focus on the business growth is when you want to scale your company, you need to focus on strategy, systems, support, and state of mind. And to me, state of mind is almost more important than all of them, because I've seen so many people that no matter what tactics they try, if their state of mind is out of whack, those tactics will fail, because they're always self-sabotaging. They're always putting kind of this weird mix into the game. And yeah, that happens. And that's the other thing I was going to say is I think it's fascinating too, that to your point, that entrepreneurs don't leave their work at work. And again, my peeps should know this, that I personally believe that being an entrepreneur is a self-development process, and that it's the best self-development course you can ever possibly take. So you're doing it because of who you are, not because there's this thing, this job, this talent, this skill that you have. It's in essence of who you are. And in particular, during the whole COVID thing, when everybody was in lockdown, I thought it was hilarious that you see it, because the kids are knocking at the door and the cats are climbing all over them. And it's like, life just is like, okay, I get it. You're in your house. Like life doesn't leave, and you still have to be able to do that thing. So I thought it was a really cool metaphor or personification of that whole concept.
Yeah, most definitely. And, one of the things that I had noticed too is that for me, it's when a person brings their authentic self, their past, and, everything who they are, they can show up better, not only for themselves, but for their clients as well, because people learn from people's story. And like with my podcast, I've always want people to share their story first, then get into the strategies or whatever else, because a person resonates and they understand. And they're like, okay, I've been through that, or yeah, I've actually experienced that. And it helps them be able to realize that all I have to do is just show up and be myself. And you're going to have people that like you for you or not like you. Either way, I'd rather a person like or not like me because I'm being authentic, not because of them, thinking that they know me and they really don't. And that's the part that really makes a difference, is how do you show up and what's your mindset behind whatever you're doing.
Nice. So somebody that's maybe thinking about that, going, okay, like you guys keep saying that, just be myself, just be myself. But if I'm just myself, then people don't like me. People think I'm sharing too much information. People think, inappropriate work behavior. What do you have to say to people that are thinking that?
I say that is that person who's thinking that is not your ideal audience in a nutshell. If you're focused on pleasing everyone, then guess what? You're a chameleon and you're pleasing no one. So, either people love me or they don't like me. And I'm okay with either one because of the fact that at the end of the day, I sleep really good at night because I'm being me, I'm being true, I'm being authentic. My clients know that I'm going to be honest with them. I'm going to be tactful, but I'm going to be very honest and let them know, like, if the baby is ugly, the baby's ugly and we need to address it. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, it's so cute when that baby looks like, yeah, Frankenstein or something. But like, ooh, cute shoes. You maybe put a hat on it or something.
Awesome.
Like about being real,
Yep.
and unfortunately, there's so many people that don't even know who their true selves are. And that's the part that keeps people from showing up, of not really knowing who they are, so until then, you come from the place of like where you're comfortable, where you feel comfortable.
So how do you start, in your experience, finding out who you are? How does one find out who they are if they don't have the experience?
So foundation, I was, I'm all about writing, journaling, not, you don't have to write a book, but I always have clients, because I get a lot of those, like my not only just coaching clients, but my actual therapy clients. They'll be like, I've lived life, I've been focused on my husband, I've been focused on my kids, I've lived for everyone else, and now I want to start business. And this is like my therapy clients who are like transitioning, and they're like, I just want to figure out who I am. The first thing I have them do is write a list of all the things that they like to do, things that they like about themselves, things that they've seen that they want to incorporate in their life. And then the other side is the stuff that they've experienced or had seen or don't pretty much care for, to start. And then from there, once they're clear on the things they like. And the beautiful thing is nobody's judging you, because this is your list. You can keep it as private as you want, but it's your list. And so when you bring it to me, then we actually go through each one. Then I start helping them with the strategy of what they do to get there. But the biggest part is, I always say, education, key to power. So learning and knowing who you are and what you like and don't like starts with, like, sometimes, you ever seen the movie Runaway Bride?
Yes.
With Julia Roberts, when he asked her, like, you don't even know what kind of eggs you like, because every guy that she ran away from, they were like, no, she likes eggs Benedict. No, she likes fried. No, she likes over easy. And the thing about it, she was busy with all these guys that she didn't really know who she was. So it's like she had to step away and actually just even learn what kind of eggs she liked. And it's as simple as starting from the very bottom of what you like and don't like, and then you can grow from there, one step at a time. Oftentimes people want to not know how to swim to jumping in a deep end. I know I would probably drown.
I am totally that jumping in the deep end. And I don't just dump in the deep end. I go in from a high diving board and go, is water deep enough? I don't know. I'm about to find out.
I'm an underwater swimmer. So for me, I figure my way out. Like, let me go do this. And I'm an explorer, so it's okay to be that person, but you know who you are when you do that. You're like, I am a person, I like adventure. I'm a jump in the deep end. And that's perfectly okay. But that's you being you compared to somebody else not knowing who they are. And when they're jumping, like, I didn't even know I didn't know how to swim. Ooh, okay.
Found out. That is awesome. I love that. Well, and we kind of have the same approach too, in when we're helping somebody transition into the digital world. So somebody that hasn't been running their company on a digital platform before, and they don't know where to start. I'm like, well, what do you like to do? Do you like to listen to things? Do you like to see things? Do you like to watch videos? Do you like to look at pictures? Do you like to make pictures? Do you like to read books? Do you like to write? Do you like what do you like to do? Because if you can harness that skill set or that appreciation for a skill that you have, and then start looking at, okay, so do I want to make video? Do I want to make blog posts? Do I want to tweet? Do I want to, like, you can modify the way you go online based on the things you actually like to do, so that it becomes really easy to actually do it, because you're going to want to do it anyway.
Exactly. And that's one of the things it's so key, is using a person's personality, who they are, what they're comfortable with when you're creating strategies. Which is why I love, everything about you, Michelle, because that's why the first time we met, we connected right away, because we have very like-minded, like-hearted ways of thinking. And it's really coming from where the person is, the client is, instead of coming from where the latest strategy or what someone says is going to work. It's not going to work if it's not what you resonate with. And if it's not true to you, you're going to struggle with that. And I've actually had coaches that try to, and I say the word try. Usually I say attempt when it works, but I say try. They have tried to tell me what to do. And it's like that. First of all, you have to know who I am, and you didn't even attempt to do that. I heard you tell somebody else the exact same strategy. That person and I are totally different. We don't think anything the same. So what I'll do is when I tell them, I don't really care for that strategy, it's not gonna work. Oh, just try it. I say 2 words. Oh, okay. And that means, and I actually, it's 1 word, but I make it 2 syllables. That means I'm not gonna do it. I'm like, okay. And then it's like, I'm not going, like, you just wasted my time because what you gave me was a cookie cutter style that sounds like really good to you, but it's not going to work for me nor my audience. And so I just kind of like, don't even do it. That's the worst thing for someone to spend hours on the phone or an hour of a strategy call and they don't even execute it because it doesn't resonate with who they are. So
I wish I had known that so much. About 10 years ago, I had done a bodybuilding competitions and a marathon and was in wicked good shape. And I went to a nutritionalist and she said, well, let's try this and let's try that. And boom, within like months, I was 10 pounds up and I was heartbroken. So I went and tried another one and they're like, well, let's try this and let's try that. And if I had just known that let's try means I don't know and I have a cookie cutter approach to how this is going down, I would have run away so fast. I had to look like Forrest Gump, but
exactly. And that's the piece of knowing like who you are. And I've actually had said that to someone. I mean, like when I actually tell someone what's not going to work for me and they're not listening, that means already 1, you're not the person for me to assist me. And number 2, that, we're not even having conversation any longer because that lets me know that you're focused on you instead of me. And I've actually had to tell people that it's like when someone is telling you what's not going to work for them, when you ignore what they're saying and mostly want to focus on you, it's kind of like if someone and punches you, when they talking out, people talk with their hands and smack you and you're like, hey, you can tell me what you have to say, but you don't have to hit me. And they're mostly focusing on, well, I was just trying to tell you something. Okay, but you don't have to hit me. You're sensitive. No, you're not validating me and you're not listening to anything that I have to say. And so this conversation has ended. Oftentimes I find people go in a defense mode instead of the validation mode of really listening to what a person says. So connecting with them. And as entrepreneurs and business owners, it's important to really listen to your clients and your customers. And that way they feel validated. And then from there, they'll be willing to listen to what you have to say.
Nice.
So.
I love it. Well, and you also hinted on one of my favorite concepts, which is when you hire somebody to do something for you, that they care more about you and what you're trying to get out of as a result than, oh, we have this tactic and we'll just sell you this tactic because that's what you're asking for. And clearly you don't do that. And I absolutely love and adore that. That's not your approach to business at all. So who are some of your ideal clients? Like, who do you love to serve and support?
I love working with clients that are just real and honest. It doesn't matter where they're starting from. If they're new, if they have already been in business for a while, I like action takers. In a nutshell, I like action takers. I like people who are ready to, get it moving. If you are stuck in a mindset and you're not willing to do anything, those are the clients that I know that I cannot work with, because on a person, I can have someone that tells me, I want to do work, I want to do this, I want to do that. Well, there's a little tactic that I do. I'm certified in NLP and also hypnotherapy. And so when people hear that, they're like, oh, okay, you're going to do something spooky to me. No, what it does is I have the ability, I take them through this guided imagery, and through it, I'm able to tell what a person's connection is with money, like their mindset around money, their mindset around success, where are their boundaries, how they present to the world, and what's their viewpoint of themselves. And then do they really see themselves going far? Just by me doing this simple exercise, I'm able to break through a lot of barriers with my clients right away. And so when someone tells me I want to make, 6 figures figures by the end of the year, but then they have a really limited belief when it comes to money, then if they're not willing to address that, so their goal is here, but they're not willing to work with the basic, it's very difficult for me to work with you because that means you're not ready. So that's the kind of clients I work with, clients that are ready to have action. They don't have to know how to do it. They just are saying, I'm ready, and they're willing to take action. So those are my ideal clients.
Nice. Because I know a lot of people, a lot of times when, especially when they would hire me, is going, well, yeah, I'm stuck. That's why I need a coach. And I don't know, like, how do I know if I'm stuck and willing or if I'm stuck and stuck? And I laugh and I go, well, we'll find out in a few minutes, won't we?
Yeah, most definitely. And there's that piece where you definitely, like I said, it doesn't mean when a person says, I don't know what I'm doing, and it's a matter of them, because I actually see this, like I said, in coaching as well as in therapy, where you'll have someone that comes because they were told that they need to, but they're not ready yet. And so if a person's not ready yet, it's kind of like throwing spaghetti on the wall, hoping that it stick. And that is not a good concept to work with. So when a person is ready and they're willing and they're able, people are willing and able, but they're really ready, then it's easy for me to say, okay, foundation, let's figure out who you are, get clarity, and then go steps by step and go from there. And that's the part that really, really makes a big, huge difference. So I will not work with somebody, I don't care how much money they offer me, I'm not going to work with someone who's not ready, because basically they're wasting their money. And to me, that is not, I would not have integrity if I'm just taking a person's money knowing that they're definitely not in a space that they're ready to actually do the work.
Right. So give us an example of one of your Cinderella stories, as I like to call them.
There's so many. Is there a particular kind of person that you're looking for? I've actually, working with someone who's come with, they are ready. They're like, I'm stuck. I have this idea in my head. I have no idea where I'm going to go. I have no idea what to do. Just know that I'm ready. And so starting from the very foundation, like we were talking about, them getting clarity of who they are, getting clear, what direction they want to go. They have their goals. And what I do is take them step by step, week by week. We start breaking through barriers, breaking through stuff, going from a person who's had like a significant trauma history around money issues, really wanted to be successful, wasn't sure if they're able to because they haven't seen it around them at all, to a person they're actually about to reach 7 figures at probably by the end of this year. So to me, that is like a person going from like the little nothing of just saying, I know there's more inside of me than what I'm surrounded, what I see, to actually bringing that out of a person and getting them to the point of just having ultimate success and being humble about it. And so to me, that's huge and amazing.
Nice. So what would some stumbling blocks be that somebody might be having right now that they would say, oh my God, Monica, I totally need you?
I would say stumbling blocks is the fact of starting something and can't finish it, wanting to seek their passion and for some reason don't even have clear direction, not really even having clarity or confidence around what they're supposed to do. I see a lot of people getting stuck in that mindset. In my therapy business, I do trauma. I work with trauma. So you're talking about when, being stuck. I have people that get stuck and transition from therapy to even coaching. People are still stuck from stuff that happened to them when they were, bullied in 4th grade, stuff, from a childhood where they literally still have that little girl mindset. So anytime someone approaches them about something, they feel threatened and they retreat. So like literally, you're talking about layers and layers of stuff that I have to break through. But my style allows a person to feel comfortable, they feel validated, and they're able to come out of their shell more and more at a time. And I've worked with men and women. I've had people say you should just work with women. And I've had some people that says, hey, well, guys resonate with you. Well, because of the way that I teach, I work with both. I have clients that are men and women. And so I don't limit myself on who I'm able to help. If you resonate with me and a person's comfortable, then I'm able to help them go from where they want to go. And it's not about me, it's about them. So, and that's for me, that's what makes a big difference.
Nice. I love that. So I know we've had a little bit of a discussion around my philosophy on the 4 S's, which are the way to scale a business, to be able to grow from kind of somebody that might be a manager of a company and deciding, hey, I'm going to take my buyout and become an entrepreneur, or somebody that's an entrepreneur and wants to scale to a business owner where their company runs better without them. And my philosophy is that if you focus on and implement strategies, systems, support, and state of mind, you will get there. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I totally agree with you. For me, I would start with state of mind. That for me is the number one, and I know that you do strategy awareness, but ensuring that part, all that is incorporated in it is huge. You have some people, they can take and do all of them at the same time. And some people have to pick which one works the best. So always going from where the client starts and where they are, and then helping them from there, those pieces is huge. It's kind of like when a person is going through, and I use a lot of analogies. You have a person who's contemplating starting their business, but when it comes to starting, I don't know, like maybe like finding their purpose, they contemplate on that. But then when it comes to making a big purchase, they're like, I'm all in it kind of thing. And it's like people are in different layers of when it comes to what they're willing to do and what they're not willing to do. And so being able to help them wherever they are, whichever space they're in, makes a person become successful. And as a coach, it's really always being mindful of that. And so when you're coming from a place of where the client is and not yourself, you will always win. And that client would win. And then in turn, you end up becoming a winner as well. So I love your 4 S's. I mean, there absolutely covers every groundwork that there is for a client.
Sweet. So if people are totally interested and want to work with you, want to find out what kind of stuff you have, just, whether it's dabbling and getting their feet in the water, or if they're going absolutely full bore, what does it take to work with you full time? How do they get a hold of you? Where do they start?
Yeah, I would say they can just start with my website at www.decidetomove.com. That's DECIDETO move.com. And also I have a Facebook group called CEOs on the Move. And so I'm active in the group. On my website, it has access to my Instagram, Twitter, like literally everything, my email. So that way it's an easy way for them to get there. Also, it allows them to have a link that goes straight to my podcast if they want to listen to that, because it's on every platform. But that's the easiest way to get a hold of me, and then find me on all the social medias that there is out there.
Awesome. And peeps, if you're listening to this on a podcast and you don't have access to write things down, just go to awarenessstrategies.com. /blog, and we will have Monica's information there for you. And you can search anything from Coach Monica Bijoux, whatever you like, and you'll find her.
Yeah, most definitely. And also for your audience, I have a download called Millionaire Mindset Secrets. It's also available on my website as well, so that they can get a direct, go there, scroll in the middle, and it's a link that, big old purple, block, because that's one of my colors, and they'll be able to download that as well. And it actually goes through a lot of different things that, really help with the groundwork, like you say, state of mind, before you get into all the other strategies and stuff like that when it comes to you want to become that 7-figure entrepreneur.
Nice. I love it. So tell me this, at what point in life did you know that you were that special kind of crazy enough to think that you could become a successful entrepreneur?
When I said it in my mind.
Yeah. Why did you say it in your mind? What was going on?
Well, I'm a praying kind of person. You're right. I am a prayer. Yep. And also the fact that, I was determined. For me, beating the odds of all the things that I've been through in my life, I know for a fact that I could have been, was homeless at one time. I could have remained that way. I also know that I could have been, living on the streets, and just a lot of different things happened. But I was determined not to let myself be a statistic. And my focus was raising my daughter, getting her to a certain age. Then I started going back to school and just continue to go. And I wanted to make sure that my daughter knew that she can be whatever she wants. One thing that I tell people is society, and those that are watching this, I'm a Black female. We know what's happening with society today, everything that's happening. It's not always safe for me to just even get in my car and drive without worrying about, am I going to get pulled over and be the next statistic in that right? And, you know, so with that, I believe in, like, the world will shut the door on you, but I never allow myself to have the door shut on me because I'm not able to do something. If I say it in my heart, this is what I want to do, then I'm going to go after it. Because me being an entrepreneur is not about myself. It's about who is missing out on their blessing because I'm not willing to step up and do what I'm supposed to do. And so because of that, I'm always growing and doing self-development and learning things so that way I can definitely help my client. I mean, I'm getting my doctorate in conscious business ethics for the fact of being able to combine my human resource background, my social work background, so that way I can be better service to my clients and truly help them become better entrepreneurs themselves. So everything I do is about helping other people and continue to open doors for those around me. So.
You are brilliant and awesome and tenacious and so many words. You are fantastic. And it was really cute. I don't know what happened in the recording, but you said I'm a prayer, and it sounded like I'm a prayer, and you absolutely are. You've been a prayer to me. You're just adorable. I just can't help but love you and hug you and squeeze you every time I see you. And I just want to have like a little Vulcan mind meld with you and get all that knowledge out of your brain, because it's amazing.
You have a lot too, so we be like sharing knowledge because you're amazing too. I mean, you know, and that's one of the things that I love about being in this entrepreneur space is that, you know, one, it's lonely if a person wants to be lonely, but there's so many like-minded and like-hearted entrepreneurs. Is find the ones that you connect with and then stay with them. I mean, honestly, you know, for me, it's kind of like the moment that I met you, we connected, and it's like every time I see you, I'm like, oh, there's Michelle. Forget you guys. Sorry, excuse me, get out of the way. And that's the part that really makes a big, huge difference. And for me, you know, like once again, talking about what the world has today, I don't see color. I see heart. I see mindset. I'm about intelligence, where a person is, about growing. Every time I talk to someone, I want to learn something from them. I want to be able to walk away thinking about something new and something different and expanding my mind and expanding my thought process. And so it's a breath of fresh air for me to be surrounded around people that I know that I can grow from every time that we talk. So it's always been always a pleasure being around you.
Nice. Well, thank you, baby. I appreciate your time immensely. So you guys go over to DecideToMove.com and go and talk to Monica and find out how she can help you to take your business to the next level. Awesome. So this is Michelle Nedelec. Thank you for being here with us today. If you know anyone who would make a great guest for the show, or if you have questions or topics that you'd like me to answer or take up and discuss, reach out to Michelle at awarenessstrategies.com or connect with me on LinkedIn or Facebook. I'd love to hear from you. Have an awesome week, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to our show. I am all about being a resource center for entrepreneurs to give them the information and the support they need to make it in business. As such, I have Taking Your Business Digital Q&A every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Mountain. To register for that, go to awarenessstrategies.com/digital. That's DIGITAL. I look forward to meeting you and actually finding out how you are. So see you on the flip side.